Right, so
Why not?
torn apart by the force of the bomb, Wyvern's a tableau of agony. Any identifying aspect has fled, leaving him nothing more than mortal and great pain. In his broken state, he's beyond any help. Right, hold Gwyron's sundial up to the light. Turn the ring towards dawn. Okay. What is dawn? That means the earliest point in this saga. I'll get us out of here if I can, Wyvern.
You're a saint to even consider it. Whatever happened here scattered me in body and mind. I can't leave while I'm shattered. Gather enough of the pieces and maybe I'll be strong enough to be some help.
Right, so there was a light up here as well. Hold the sundial, turn it towards noon. I'm thinking at dusk is where the explosion happens. The moment of.
That order's too tall. Sorry, sir. Can't.
Alright, so if all the slow motion kills are over.
Well.
Looks like trouble.
Feel it. To the boys with you!
After him!
Ooh, son!
That must have hurt.
Feel it.
This isn't as effective as you seem to think.
He's going for that archer. Everybody's turning to that archer and he's just like, fuck, get me out of here.
Sure.
And curiouser.
Leave it to me.
The explosion of the Godhammer bomb ripped Wyvern's body in half. It happened so quickly that his face has yet to lose the crease of concern he wore a moment ago. In this broken state he's beyond any help. Alright. There's any point in being here? Alright. Dusk. What happens if we go to dusk here? If we go to dusk from this point, what happens?
Could be a
Crave the field of fearless.
This isn't as effective as you seem to think.
Who knew then?
If they're like that near, you're not meant to be doing damage, you're just meant to be fucking interfering with people.
Now that's just rude.
hell. Missed.
Glory be.
Roax dead.
Is the trap still there? Yes.
Well. Well.
Aha! You dangle your legs over the edge of that dock. In the gloom of pre-dawn, the lake resembled a mirror of polished obsidian. Your father approached with a pair of fishing rods. Back then, he stood as tall as a mountain. He expected you to be ready in the boat by now. What had you so distracted? Father, would the morning still come if Aeofus wasn't there to draw it over the horizon? He sighed. A foolish question. Aeofus is the dawn. His absence would be the death of all light. You're old enough for this to be obvious. What is truly on your mind? Your father knows you well enough to see through this obvious deflection. We till the soil and we plant the seeds, but we give thanks only to Aeofus for the harvest. Before you could finish the thought, the fishing rods clattered to the ground and your father struck you hard enough that he pitched you forward into the lake. Your mouth opened with a cry that was quickly stifled by the cold water. He bellowed that the gods deserve gratitude, not an ignorant child's faithless doubt. You should thank Aeofus for the harvest and the dawn. Pride will only make you complacent. You were never a strong swimmer. By the time you desperately clawed your way back to the surface, your father had rowed out to the middle of the lake alone. You knew better than to call out to him and interrupt up his fishing. You sat on the shore and waited his return. When the dawn crested the horizon, you didn't give thanks for the warmth it brought. You wanted to remember the cold.
What did you see in there anyway?
Weidman and his father had some turbulent disagreements over faith.
Strange thing to think of right before you get blown to pieces, don't you think?
Possibly, but... So now can that soul on the edge of the bridge help me out if I stick this into him? Then you go to the moon. So we'll find bits of his soul in different times, and the fourth bit is in the fucking bomb itself, which we have to try and find our way down to.
Why not?
Try and restore a fragment of vibrant soul. He only made whole when his body's still intact. Right, turn to dawn then. Yeah, to me personally, I think that is his soul, and confined to the white void. Like, can I go over here now? Oh, there's a key I can down here. There we go. I find the best way to do it is just to hit tab to turn them off, and then tab to turn them back on again. This text to collect the incantations is the ability to point of eligibility. If the white void is stripped of ink of any meaning, it might still mean something to one of the denizens of Rivergard's realm. Let the scholars bicker over how we crammed a piece of wiping soul into the bomb. A little uncertainty never hurt anybody. I only cleared the damn thing goes off in time. Right. Try and restore.
The water, so cold. This day I believe Father wanted me to drown. If my faith was untrue, then I wasn't worthy to be his son.
The soul of Wypern feels more vibrant and lively, but it isn't whole just yet. There must be some more essence located nearby. Can I go past?
Curiouser and curiouser.
Yes, but there's nothing to get past there. So can I go into that tower now? I've unlocked it in other time zones. Probably not in the dusk time zone because it could be made at that point. No. Can hope and restore a portion of soul. Aha! We can.
Sure.
But it doesn't give us anything. Right, let's try back to dusk. And then if not, we'll go back to the Dawn and ask him if he can read that book.
Well, well, well.
Okay. We need to get up there somehow. From there. Okay, that makes a bit more sense now. So I have to get up to there from there. I have to go to the future next to Wide One. And a bit of his essence will be up at the top of there. I'm getting there, getting there. If I leave them in different places... Hang on, can I talk to him about this book? No. To dusk. I was going to say, if I leave a character in different places, can they all be in those places when we come around, or will they all just automatically be around me? That would make for interesting gameplay if that was true. Yeah, so I can go across here. Fucking hell, look at that. That is a god hammer going off. One dozen stood. Nice. Read the soul. Your father reached up from the sick bed and clutched at your wrist, his fingers narrowed and skeletal. He'd seen enough of this condition spreading throughout the colony to know that he wouldn't last long. It's a miracle he hung on this long. His breathing was laboured, his voice ragged, but his gaze was alert and full of questions that only you could answer. I'll see you after the farm when you're gone and make sure it stays in the family. Don't worry about Mother, she won't know what to do with so much idle time. I don't know what to say. Don't worry about Mother, she won't know what to do with so much idle time. He shook his head and maintained his grip. His lips and nose were stained by Vorlus cough, a plague that coloured the phlegm purple. To you it resembled an actor's smeared face paint. He asked in a ragged whisper if he kept to your faith. I still thank Aelfis for the harvest in the dawn, just as you taught me. Satisfied, he nodded, and then his grip tightened as another fit of coughing crumpled him into a ball. And I'll thank him for the dusk as it settles over you, Father. Holy fuck! The coughing fit rattled to a halt as your father regarded you in wide-eyed shock. You left me to face a cold dawn. Now you can give thanks to the fading of your light, and you can do it alone. You moved away from the sick bed, and that was soon to be his deathbed, closing the door quietly behind you. Then you stepped out onto the porch to savour his last rays of the day.
What did you see in there anyway?
Wyvern never forgave his father.
That's a hard thing to carry all this way.
Not really, depends on your point of view about the father. If you dislike your father enough, you won't give a fuck. Right, hold the sundial up to dawn. I wonder if I can get over there. First, let's give him a piece of his soul back.
We could have parted on better terms, Father. But your son has too much of you in him. See, Father? I can be as vindictive as you.
The soul Wyvern feels more vibrant and lively, but he isn't whole just yet. There must be more soul essence located nearby. Oh fuck, Wyvern is vicious. I don't blame him though. If your father's a dick like that, you can go tell him to fuck off all you want. Right, so how do we get down to... See, look, there's something down there for the God Hammer. And there must be a way down to it. Right, let's to noon. That was pretty vicious of Wyvern, but yeah, like I said, I don't blame him. His father tried to drown him just because he didn't believe in a fucking god.
I'm listening.
Vatnia, could you like burn the shit out of these barrels?
Lava room beyond the sea. Glory be.
Right, if I fire the gunpowder pile.
Lava room beyond the sea.
No, it's not going to explode. Now I want to go up here and go into. I want to know where that portal up there goes when you're at the door at dusk. Can I get down there? Right, so what does this do? See, it doesn't say Shattered Passage again, so this is going somewhere different.
I swear.
Right, so we'll have a quick rest, get rid of those injuries, and we're found somewhere else we can go now. Hooray! So let's go back to dawn. I doubt noon will help us because it's maybe just an explosion just like this anyway. But you never know, it might be something there, so it might be in noon there's a soul essence. There'll be one at dawn inside the Godhammer bomb. It can't be at noon or dusk because
damn it. Why can't I remember?
continues everyone.
I memorized that illusion spell. How can it be gone? Another second and Whitewind will know the bomb is here. Damn it, girl. This is your chance. The whole point of the thing is that his soul finds him first.
As you intuit her meaning, you catch a flash of memory. Robed priests assembling a delicate machine, spiked copper plates housing a fragile shard of Ardra. The Ardra house is a piece of Wydwin's soul. Jonas was right, the bomb worked because part of Wydwin's soul was inside. The mechanism was elegant in simplicity. When a fragment of Wydwin's soul reacted to his approach on the bridge above, it conducted soul energy into the copper and triggered the explosive. A bomb for Wydwin, made of Wydwin. I think this is what you're looking for, the book I had.
Of course. Simple. How would I forget a thing like that anyway?
As she begins an incantation, you comprehend where and how the bomb was hidden. Knowing this, it feels as if 1,000 pairs of eyes are observing your progress at once. The illusion fades under their scrutiny.
Sure.
The heat of Magrin's fire singes your face as you are closer to the Godhammer bomb, which feels poised to go off at any instant. Under layers of copper plating, enchantments and volatile materials, you sense the fragment of Wydwin's soul. It reaches out to you in blind confusion. Bomb and a priest of Magrin or fire god force the soul out and detonate the bomb. You extend your will into the mechanism, probing until you find the fragment of Wydwin's soul. You give it a forceful tug. The bomb responds at once, its moving parts coming together and radiating expressive heat, and pushes you away until your world is bathed in flame. Read the soul. You drew your sickle across the thin patch of Orlis. The harvest would be a poor one, but at least it was a shared burden that no one would say had suffered alone. We could use some rain to go for the sunlight, Aethys. My thanks in advance. As usual, there was no reply. You drew the sundial from under your shirt, but the light had waned too much to judge the hour. Widewin. You flinched as the chime of the bell echoed from some distant source. The sensation of warmth spread across your back. Who's there? The daylight blossomed to life, exploding into many colours that filled the sky. You turned to face it, shielding your eyes until you realised it didn't hurt to look into its brilliance. The glowing figure loomed before you. Do you still thank me for the dawn and the harvest, Widewin? You dropped to your knees. You felt laid bare before the light of Aethys. Every word spoken in hate, every punch you threw first, every time you turned your back to the dawn, they were all his to judge. I won't plead for mercy. Do what you came to do. You tilted your head to present your neck, a motion you had seen repeated so many times in the town square. The luminous figure flickered away that reminded you at once of guttering candle and a chuckle. Do you think I'm here to admonish and cast you into the lake? No. I would draw you back to the warm for higher calling. He knew. Suddenly you felt like that child again, vulnerable and alone in looming all-powerful presence. Fear not, for you are chosen above all others. You will be the light that brings about the rebirth of an empire. An empire? It was gibberish to you, but Aethys probably knew something you didn't. Of course he did. And just because I'm accepting this doesn't mean I'm not angry with you. Aethys understood completely and never thought less of you for it. The sickle fell from your grip, and with a clatter as his hand reached out from across a great distance to touch your brow. The light stole over your vision. Much later you awakened a changed man.
What did you see in there anyway?
Widewin chose his fate for himself. He and Aethys shared a bond.
I suppose that's better than Aethys forcing it on him. I always wondered about that. A lot of folks did.
Noon. And then after that we'll go back to the Dawn and we'll try and open that door to find what we're missing in that room. There might be some item to pick up or... Should have spotted that. Read the soul. Dawn rose over the mountain pass where you camped your forces. The first rays warmed tents and roused the army's congregation from a slumber. Evangeline Bridge was a speck in the horizon. Scouts say that a dozen soldiers hold the crossing. What do you think they can accomplish? You spat in the wind and considered your options. No one said this would be easy, but you started it to wonder if the world even wanted a saint. The Deerwood certainly didn't. They must have something to believe in, something that could turn the tides against us. You were only thinking aloud, but without warning it became one of the rare moments when a familiar voice interceded in your thoughts. It's possible our adversaries don't lack for motivation. You flinched as the presence asserted itself. Aethys had been preoccupied lately, spending days in contemplative silence, distancing himself from you. What do you think, old friend? Could this be the end of your long march? You, Aethys, considered this your answer of care. The inevitability of things always came easy to Rimmergand, and in this moment you envied him. Echo Aethys, you and I may stumble, but our legacy will live on, if not in this frontier then another. All things are reaped in their course, Widewin. Maybe, but death isn't the ending you think it is. Embrace whatever comes. Dawnstar's gone, or Aethys? Dawnstar is the light side of him, Gaun's the dark side of him, like birth and the death, and Aethys is the complete cycle. So let's just go for Aethys and not Gaun or Dawnstar's. You and I may stumble, but our legacy will live on, if not this frontier then another. Why try and stop us though? Don't they want to see the light as we do? For some reason it is always so hard telling Widewin the truth. Maybe all the gods were out of practice. You already knew about the bomb, and you decided not to act on that knowledge. Change is agonising, mortals will fight to avoid it, but it always catches up to them in the end. The night brings horrors, but it's necessary. Kith will always rise against that which terrifies them. Sometimes Kith need to learn on their own, and we are naive to think that showing them the way is enough. Change is agonising, mortals will fight to avoid it, but always catches up to them in the end. I'm just going to echo Aethys instead of Gone or Dawn Stars. Wyvern looked out on the Evandure Bridge and wondered if he was ready to face the dusk. His thoughts were like a placid lake. Then he spoke his mind again, this time taking you by surprise. Those defenders are looking past their faith and to stand against a god. They're here to fight for everything they built and planted together. Wyverns begin to see the point. It was your sorrow to know that you wouldn't live long enough to fully appreciate it. Kith are supposed to face the dawn together, not depend on it. Our first duty is to each other. You wanted to tell Wyvern how proud you felt. He is no longer needed a father approval to know when he was right. This saddened you even more, that knowing that Wyvern had seen his last sunrise.
What did you see in there anyway?
Aethys wanted Wyvern, everyone, to believe in a world where Kith had control over their destiny. Aethys knew about the Godhammer, but he and Wyvern crossed the bridge anyway. Aethys wanted Wyvern, everyone, to believe in a world where Kith had control over their destiny.
Starting wars, knocking over castles, sucking out souls. He sure has a strange way of showing us.
Right, let's go to Dawn. And then we're going to go in that door and see what was inside there. Unless it's just a way up. Unless there's something special about going to dusk there. But I'm pretty sure it'll be that bit of the bridge that collapsed out here we were standing on before. Right, okay, so it's just a way up and down. Wyvern, I got the rest of your soul for you. All the essence you gathered in Evandure Bridge converges in Wyvern. His soul brightens with a flash, then his eyes snap open with a tide of revelation washes over him. Wyvern, awaken and watch your events play out.
Thank you, friend. I'm struggling to understand it all, but my thoughts are clearer now.
Wyvern wobbles on his feet, expression of bewilderment shapes into a broad grin as he recovers his bearings.
I think I accept why this needed to happen, but it is only human to feel conflicted.
You hope you learned something from the experience.
There is a lesson, a purpose to the Godhammer that I failed to grasp. Aethys wanted the people of the world to stand tall, without gods propping them up. The Godhammer didn't just tear Aethys from my body. It drove a wedge between gods and Kith across Eora. And isn't that just a version of what he always wanted?
I always thought he wanted to expose the working weapons.
He did. But in the end, it was a difference of two rivers flowing into the same ocean. Taking on that burden of suffering wasn't in Aethys' original plan. But it served him well enough that he was content to keep his distance for a few quiet years. Now that I'm free, I can feel Oblivion tugging at me harder than before. We won't have time to savor the victory, friend.
I'm on a mission to confront Aethys. Would you lend your hand? Would you lend your help?
He's out in the world stirring the pot again, isn't he? We shared a bond long ago. Those were different times. I would only hurt your cause by tagging along.
Any words to wisdom, Ed?
Well, this sure is something. I never thought I'd be the one to give advice to a saint. I can't know what you've been through, but I think Aethys needs a reminder of what he put people through the last time he walked Eora.
If it'll do some good, I wouldn't be much of a saint if I refused you.
Yeah, the folks back home sure aren't gonna believe this. You're gonna have to back up my story, Watcher.
Poor dare! I want to tell people I talk to a god. Echo. Yeah, that's a shite one. And the switcheroo is going to be a useful ability. What do you want to give her? Because seriously, I don't care at this point. She's got everything she's going to get.
Let's go.
Oh, hi. Is he angry that I got Whitewind to stay alive? Constantine, come down here. You move out the way.
How might I assist?
You. Yeah. Switch places with him.
Time to rethink this stratagem.
And now Constantine's right in the thick of the battle and they two are safe.
I'm here. Room beyond sea.
It does nothing.
Glory be. Lava room beyond sea. Hey.
Alright. So I'm assuming Remagan isn't very happy that we saved Aethys or Whitewind.
Got it.
That reminds me, Constantine, I forgot to add into your behaviour that other fucking thing. Yeah. 6 phrases. Do you ever get 6 phrases? Yeah, if you ever get 6 phrases, just blast that out at reflex. Lowest reflex.
Whatever you need.
Alright, so time. Oh, that's been 40 minutes. Oh dear. Okay then, we'll pause there, we'll end the episode and